Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about rape and consent throughout media, mostly focusing around the show Law and Order Special Victims Unit created by Dick Wolf. We're going to be comparing it to other shows, and I'm going to give you my review over the whole topic in general of rape and consent throughout media. And when I say media, I'm not only talking about like social media, I'm including TV shows, movies, the whole nine. So let's get it started. And to get it started, we will start with the simple definition of what is rape. Rape is defined as unlawful sexual activity and unusual sexual intercourse carried out forcibly or under threat of injury against a person's will or with a person who is beneath a certain unconsciousness are incapable of valid consent because of mental illness, mental deficiency, intoxication, unconsciousness, or des- deception. And that definition came out of the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Um, so that pretty much just means that like if you are drunk, if you're under the influence of drugs, if they threaten you, if they're doing it by force, um, or if you're unconscious, if the word yes did not come out of your mouth, you did not give consent for them to sexually engage in anything. That's first. That's the definition of rape. Now we could talk about the definition of consent, where it's a simple definition is to give consent, well, assent or approval, and that's straight out of the Merriam-Webster dictionary, and that just pretty much means giving them the okay. In any instance, not just in sexuality, but like in touching you in anything, and that's just That's like an important part that plays a role in everything. Consent, because that can be misused in a bunch of different ways, along with actually raping someone. So the first thing we could talk about is Law and Order. Law and Order has 21 seasons. It has an estimated view count of 4 million by Otterson. Published a paper in 2017. I could drop the link below if you guys need me to. On average throughout the whole series of the show, it averages between 4 and 5 million viewers per episode. So I thought that was pretty sweet, seeing that it comes out every Wednesday, and then in the summertime it does have a break. But it's been going on for 21 years. That's a long time, and the show is pretty good at evolving the idea of rape and consent in general. It just doesn't focus on the everyday mundane definition of rape and or consent. An example of this is like in the early episodes. In the early episodes, they had a pretty like black and white of what is rape, what can they try to prosecute rape, and how they can make it move. And that was like okay because they went specifically by the law for that, which I thought was pretty okay. I thought it was sweet. Um, but what really got me engaged and really accepting of how Law and Order SVU is a is a like they're very proactive in with the time and moving along with the definitions of everything and giving people a sense of what's okay and what's not okay. So like another example is like season 3 they started evolving kind of with the idea of men being able to be raped. It was season 3, episode 10. The name of the episode is Ridicule. It's by created by Dick Wolf. This episode is a man who was raped by 3 higher powered women. They weren't assaulting him, but they did have a letter opener which they used as a weapon to force him. Um, this was a good example because the police asked him many questions. One of them was, "Were you drunk? Were you intoxicated at the time?" They tried to figure out a way to blame it on not just it was females raping a guy. Another thing they said is, why couldn't you just do it? Couldn't you force them to get off of you? And when he couldn't, he was unable to. Another thing was his profession. He was a male stripper, so they tried to use that against him too. You were a stripper. You were asking for it. You're a guy. Guys like that. So it was very interesting in seeing how they incorporate the whole show. Another example is further on in the season. This is about season. I don't want to. Season 18 is a good season for me to talk on, and this is like 2000. Season 18 came out in 2000 and 2017. That was a pretty good year for the show because there's a lot of stuff going on in the world overall, and it was okay. In this episode I'm talking about was season 3, episode 3, season 18, episode 3. Sorry for that, and it was titled Imposter. This episode is about a man who's trying to sleep with a expect like a mom trying to get her kid into college. Um, the whole thing was that he raped her, which is true, because he used a different identity than that was his. He didn't just lie about facts or fabricate facts about him. He used someone else's identity to get consent to have sex with that person. And that was the idea that they pushed that worked out for the series, that also showed us a different side of the whole rape and consent aspect of the whole thing. They showed us something new that, like, not only can you, if you, like, use a whole different identity, that could count as not giving consent for that specific person. It also counts that that's rape, and that's not okay. And it also points out that she done wrong things too. Like sleeping with an admissions officer to try to get her son into college. That was not okay. They pointed her out. They also went through the whole journey of her acknowledging that she was wrong, that the whole thing overall was wrong, and I thought that was decent, and I liked what they did for that. And that was the overall sum up in a couple episodes of Law and Order that showed my idea that Law and Order is advanced with the way they represent rape and consent within the media. Another series that doesn't do such a good job as Law and Order is CSI. The whole CSI franchise, they don't represent rape and or consent that much. They're more focused on the chase of the person. They don't focus anything after there. It's just like, wow, we caught the bad guy, cool. Unlike Law and Order, where Law and Order shows you step by step. Excuse me, I'm sorry. They go by step. They show you, hey, we got the crime, we caught the crime, we investigate the crime, we get a suspect, we arrest the suspect, and then the suspect goes to court. It's not just one big gulp where, oh, I'm just specifically looking for the suspect. It doesn't matter what crime he did. It doesn't matter how it turns out. I got him. Cool. Which I thought was really interesting by Law and Order. Law and Order also does a pretty good job with clarifying myths about rape and consent, and it points out that it could happen with any gender. Even if you like, it could happen. It could even happen with married couples. If you give consent once, doesn't mean that you're giving consent every time for that person to have sex with you, which was a pretty good deal. Another thing is that not all not all shows give a valid point like Law and Order. Law and Order overall is a better series that informs the viewers about rape and consent than any other series. Law and Order is a more important structure to our everyday lives than any other series in the sense of educating us about rape and consent throughout media. And that's my take on the subject. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll put a link in the description about any evidence I brought up. Law and Order SVU, I'll bring up the show. I'll drop the creator, all that. So, hope you enjoyed my little YouTube video. Leave a like, comment if you need anything. Have a nice day.